Come on, put your hands up. Come on, we just want to let you know today that God has the whole world in his hands. Come on, come on, come on. Come on and clap your hands. We know that God has everything in you. Come on, praise God. Let everything that have breath praise the Lord. Come on, choir. God got it.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Choir Directors Academy. I'm your host, Angela Elaine. Good to be here with you all tonight to share some information. Do me a favor, Facebook, like and share this video. And those of you who are on YouTube joining me, hey there, thank you for tuning in. Would you do me a favor and subscribe to this channel? And then next to that, there is a button that says share. You can copy that link and give it to other people so that they can learn and know all about what's going on. Want to give a couple of shout outs to Erin. My mom is out here. Hey, Beverly Ann, Brother Moran, good to see you. And just for those who just became friends with me, hey, Navinka, friends with me. Elaine is not my last name. I hear a lot of people calling me Miss Elaine or whatever. It's the whole thing. Angela Elaine, that's my given name. One parent gave me Angela, the other one named me Elaine. Put them together, I honor both parents, okay? Those that know me, I hear so many people saying, hey, Miss Elaine. I'm like, okay, hey. But that's not, it's the whole name. That's just a little quirk. That's just something I came up with. But anyway, I have to revisit this topic because we as choir directors, we get very stressed and we get tired. Hey, Lisa, we get very tired and stressed. And a lot of the stress that we are under is our fault, okay? There are some things that we do that we take on. Maybe the person that was preceding us was either really good at what they did and you want to try to duplicate what they do, or they were tyrannical in the role and you're doing everything you can not. Hey, Demetria, Queen D, you're doing everything not to be like them. So then you take on all of this stuff and you're stressed out and you got your choir members are just sitting there and they're not helping you bear any of the stress. And we all know when being a choir director or a minister of music or anybody that's in charge of a department is a very stressful one. Music in particular, because we're working when nobody else is working. Our department functions through the entire service. There, you may plan. She said, don't put your whole government. You may plan is like when we're directors, we plan to be, like, oh, I got 5 songs to sing and that's all I'm going to do. And it doesn't work out that way. Hey, Shanita, it doesn't work out that way. We tend to, they say 4 or 5 songs and we end up doing 10. We the fillers, we everything else. So it's a very stressful thing because you don't want to sing the wrong songs. You don't want to, bring the service down. You want to want everything to come out nice. So it's enough stress just doing the job, being connected with the spirit and knowing what to do, how to do it, when to do it. You can always mess it up, okay? But in the essence, there are a lot of things that we do that we should not be, we shouldn't be doing. And I had to realize in myself. And I mentioned in my post before, hey, Stefan, I mentioned in my post that during this COVID time, this is the best time for us to get our departments aligned the way that they should be. This is the best time. And as a leader of a department, hey, Beatrice, thank you. As a leader, you should have plans in place. This is the best time to show your leadership skills. So many people are like, oh my God, I don't have a music department. Oh my God, I don't have this full choir. No, you should have a backup plan. If anybody's been watching my wall, of course you cannot have the full choir. Okay. So you ought to have a little trio, a little quartet or something that you can work with to yet keep the music department functioning. But we get so overwhelmed with everything that's going on. And that's what I wanted to bring to everybody's attention. Things that you should be doing, because young directors, we just run all over the place. When we take over the department, we just run. We don't know where we're running, but we just run it. And we see, okay, you doing this, and then you're doing that, and we all just converge. And we're running ourselves down. We get sickly. I mean, all kinds of things are going on because we're trying to take on too much. Okay. As the choir director or the appointed person over that department, your job is to lead the department, not do the department. Okay. Keyword, lead, as in I'm leading by example. I'm leading by training others. I'm leading by mentoring others. You know, just if you're the leader, doesn't mean you have to do every single thing. You need to be training somebody to do, even if it's just a small part of collecting the dues. Somebody trustworthy, of course. But take whatever you can and give it over to somebody else. You know, I posted this particular item, and some of you may remember it, that's been following me for quite some time. Hey, Hazel. I put it out there, the things that choir directors do, and so many of us are struggling because we're doing this. And I'm going to post it. I'm going to take myself out of the screen and show you this. And we're going to, it's ridiculous, really, but we get caught up in it. But it's called, let me see if I can get it on the screen. The many hats of a choir director: conductor, musician, coordinator, administrator, entertainer, diplomat, repairman, not your job. Babysitter, not your job. Publicist, designer, not your job. Salesman, colleague, manager, librarian, mediator, shouldn't be your job, but it worked. It happens. Inventory manager, really? Nurse, not your job. Recruiter, fundraiser, custodian, motivator, role model, technician, leader, facilitator, cheerleader, treasurer, travel agent. Really? Travel agent. Okay. Arranger, dietitian, not your job. Okay. Driver, shouldn't be your job. Okay. Historian, yes. Counselor, mechanic, not your job. Therapist, shouldn't be your job, but somehow it always ends up being our job. Hey, Pam, that is way too much stuff to do. You can't keep up with that and live and do all of the things that you need to do. You run yourself raggedy trying to do all of that. Okay? We need to learn how to modify, cut down, and do so that we can be effective in what we're doing. If you have too many things going on, you can't focus, you can't divert your attention to doing what's necessary. Okay? Your job is to train your choir, each section, how to sing their parts. You train them to sing their parts to the point that all you have to do is give them the song and they do the work. That takes time. I admit that takes time. But you train them to recognize soprano, alto, tenor, bass. That's what leaders do. If you're a choir director for any length of time, and you still got to sit up here and drill, have them singing the same part over and over 10, 15, 20 times, then you need to restructure. You need to redo. And we kind of need to have a conversation. And I'll point you to one of those videos so you can see how to train. And I think I need to review it. I actually found all my notes from 2 years ago. Yay. So I may need to go through all of that all over again. Stefan said, listen, all those things we end up doing. Exactly. Hey, Annette, those are things that we should not be doing. Okay? I'm guilty. And that's why I'm bringing it to you, because I was guilty. I was trying to do all of that, and I was running myself raggedy. Train your choir how to sing their part. The sopranos should be cued to their voice. And when I say their voice, their level of singing or their part. to the point that if you start playing a song, they automatically cue up to that note, whatever it is. They know that the highest one is me, and their ears will become tuned to that. Whereas you just give everybody the song and say, learn it. This is what we're singing. And if the song is easy enough, they'll come Sunday, be ready to sing. All you do is add music. Train them to that music is an enhancement. It's not your ruler. Okay? These are things that it's a little rough when you start. I admit it, it's a little hard. But once they get on the roll and they understand why you're doing what you're doing, then it'll be easier. Your job will be easier. You have to learn how to make this easier for you. You don't want to be 10, 15 years still doing the same thing and wearing yourself out and you stress and you sweat and everything. No, train them to take the load off of you. And that's what I had to do. By the time I started with them, I didn't realize this till maybe 15 years ago. I was doing the same thing, just wearing myself out. I mean, we spent 2 weeks trying to learn a song because I'm sitting there and it's like I got them going over and over and over and over and over. And then it occurred to me, why don't I teach them how to sing the part? And I started working with that. And soon I'll start, when we start having rehearsals, and I believe God that we're going to eventually get back to having rehearsals, and then I'll have one of maybe my niece or somebody to video so you can get an understanding of how to do it. But first of all, before you even start training them, make sure that you're versed and you study yourself, okay? Because they're gonna sing. Your choir member is going to give you 75% of what you give out. And that's after you train them, their mind. Remember last week I was talking about the ear and the spirit have to line up. Spirit has perfect pitch. The ear has to catch up with the spirit, okay? All right, because the spirit comes from God. We know all of that. I could get into a teaching side, but we know basically that's how that works. Okay, but once that ear gets tuned with the spirit and they recognize what their part is, soprano, alto, tenor, bass, whatever it is, then you can start training them to take a song and hear it. But you have to be confident in yourself, okay? When you teach in a song, you may not know all of the notes, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You may not be, know middle C or whatever else. Doesn't matter. If you, to a degree, but if you confidently know the part, and no matter how many times you sing it, you singing the same part, the same note over and over, they will catch on to your enthusiasm. They really will. Because, I mean, when I started, they didn't. They were kind of looking at me like, why? I mean, why are you going through all of this? Hey, Jaleesa, why are you going through all of this? I mean, this doesn't make sense. But as we started traveling around to different places and they started standing and singing before people who are recording artists, and we're like opening up before people, then they started to understand why I was doing what I was doing, because you sing whatever is in your spirit. And if you know the song in your spirit, that's what's going to come out when you're nervous. Okay. And that's why I said, focus on getting them to get that ear to tune up with the spirit, because that's what we do when we're nervous and scared or, whatever. That's what we do, whatever's in your spirit. And that's what you want to do. You want to train them. But your job is to train them to be independent. Lonnie Hunter, Ricky Dillard, all of them, even though they deal with people who already have an understanding of music, they probably are musicians, or they sang in the choir, or they've been trained, or they got vocal coaches or whatever. They still had to train them to sing the way that they wanted to come out. Okay? Each director has their way, and that's something that you have to develop. Learn to develop your own style. I know it looks cool to stand there and do like this one and do like that one, but I can't, I'm not really that kind of directress. I can sing. I mean, that's how I want, we want How Sweet the Sound. I was singing, directing, and, doing the whole 9 yards. That's not really me. I like to share with other people, but I do understand that in some cases, the choir needs to see my confidence in order to do something. So in training them, they develop a confidence in you that no matter what happens, this person is going to make us look good. All I got to do is follow them, get in sync with them, and we're rolling. That's what you want your choir to be. But as you train them and work with them, that confidence begins to develop. And they look at you not as they're equal, but they look at you like, okay, you're heading this department. Whatever you say, that's what we're going to do. And that's what you want the choir to get used to that. Hey, Aaron. But that's what you want them to get used to. We are supposed to mentor. That's what a choir director does. If you're the head of the department, you should be mentoring somebody to take your role, which means you have to be mature enough to understand they cannot replace you until it is time for you to move out of that role. They cannot replace you. It doesn't matter. I never try to uproot anybody that is in a role. Never do that, because the law of sowing and reaping is coming back. Okay? So I've never tried to uproot anybody out of a role. I just patiently wait until it's my time. If it's ever my time to take that role, okay? But in the meantime, I'm training somebody to be able to fill in case I have to step out or I have to run an errand for the pastor. He may send me to another church. Well, the department shouldn't fall down just because I'm not there. Somebody should know how to cue up something and sing and do whatever, fill in until I get back. Always train somebody else to kind of follow along with you. Okay, I do know that we have people who have ulterior motives. That's in everything you do. You can't change that. But what you do is you do the best you can, and you train all of them. They may be may work with you, or they may become an assistant to somebody else. It doesn't matter. God is gonna pay you back for that anyway. Now, the choir members, their job is to learn the material. It's not your job to babysit them. That is not, why do we do that? I don't know. But it's not, choir rehearsal is not a babysitting feat, okay? We are there, rehearsals, the technical definition of a rehearsal is for me to come in, not necessarily to teach you the song. Technically, it's not. It's for us to come together. We all study separately, and it's for me to come together and bring everybody in line so that we all have the same vision. Technically, that's what it's for, which is why we start from the bottom and train everybody and work our way up. Okay? But the choir members, they are supposed to learn the material. They're supposed to go on time, and they're supposed to come with an attitude to learn and to sing and to better themselves. Okay? Technically. And then they're supposed to get to the point where they trust the director, which I've already gone on that side on things that we do to develop that trust. It's a trust relationship. It's a give and take type of thing. You give to them, they give back to you what you're expecting to receive. And as you train them, as you work with them, that percentage will increase from 50 to 75 to 80 to 90, And depending on who you have in your group, that's how it's going to work. It's going to get better and better. And after a while, you will be like Ricky Dillard and like Lonnie Hunter and all of these other people that they don't have to do anything. The choir just do it all. Donald Lawrence, the choir they just stand there with a mic saying a few words and boom, it all just happens. But there's a process. And I think that's where a lot of the directors and directresses get lost in translation, because we see what we got. We see where we want to go, but we don't know the transition to get there. There's a lot of studying and working that you have to go to get to that point, whereas, you don't have much work to do. Like now, we're in the pandemic. Well, we're coming out. I'm claiming that we're coming out. But anyway, we're in it. And I had a full choir of singers. But, because you can't get everybody in the choir stand, we got to be covered up. I'm down to me, myself, and my sister and my cousin. However, because I've worked with them and trained them so much, I don't even rehearse with them. I think we rehearse once a month. I don't have to do anything. I just give them a list of songs. I give them all the songs and the music associated with it, give it to them, because I've already trained them. So it's no stress on me. Every Sunday we sing something different. They do their job. When we get up there, boom, it just happens. But I had to come through the ranks in teaching, okay? So don't give up when you get started. Have your vision, have your plan, okay? This is the best time to sit down and really think, what do I want to do? How do I want my music department to be? What am I looking for? How do I want to be? Okay, how do I want to be in this transition? What type of choir am I trying to get? The recording choir, competition choir? I just want a good church choir to sing every Sunday or whatever. Think about that. Which way do you want to go? And you chart it out. You sit down, you write it out. Write it out on a piece of paper. What you want to do. This side, what's feasible to do now, what I want to do in the future. What steps do I need to take in order to get on this side of the paper? Sit down, really, seriously, you have to sit down. It's not a haphazard thing. And I don't want you all to get just, to think that, oh my God, there's so much. No, it's not. Just sit down and think. Now, if you want to be a choir director. If it's really in you, then you're gonna sit down and say, okay, where am I now and where am I trying to go? Because I mean, I don't personally myself, I don't mind sharing the information. I don't. People text me and email me through the Choir Directors Academy. It doesn't bother me. If you have a question, I answer it. I may not answer today, but I will get around to answering it, because I realize it's a struggle. And a lot of times we don't have people, we don't have seminars like we used to. And so we don't have people that help you to get from A to E. Okay, I can start, but I don't know how to get to where I want to go. But always be prepared. Always be prepared. That's your job. Always be prepared. Study. We know that in the Bible, he says, study to show yourself approved, a workman that will not be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. We know that. But even in your role as a choir director, study. You got to study. You got to read. You have to involve yourself. Surround yourself in music. You have to study. I mean, I know it's tiresome, but in order to be good at anything, you have to go the extra mile. If you want to be a theologian, you got to go the extra mile. You got to study. You got to read. You just have to go to school. You just have to do what you have to do. There are so many music lessons that you can get on YouTube. There are some people that you can follow, and I can put that in the chat along with myself, that can teach you how to play, how to recognize notes as you see them, how to do the ear training. All of that is necessary to build up the confidence in you, so that when you stand before your choir, they know if you study, they're only going to do as much as you do. If they see that you're well versed and you study, that's going to make them do it. Trust me. They're going to do it. Because I mean, when I started with the choir, they, they were kind of like, okay, bring the song down to where we are. No, I'm not bringing that song down to where you are. You're going to sing it up there where whatever key the song is in, that's what you're singing. Pam says, thank you, Zara. He said, great teaching tonight. Thank you. Pam said, leaders always go the extra mile. Yes, they do. They always have to go the extra mile. But you have to be prepared, and you want to stand before people with confidence, knowing that you did your job. Also, leaders have to have patience. It's not going to happen overnight. I'm telling you, it's not going to happen overnight. With me, it didn't happen overnight because there was a lot of pushback. Be prepared for pushback, because now you're trying to introduce something different. It's always pushback, this thing with the government. We won't get into that. I don't want to slip over there, but be prepared for pushback when you try to change the direction of how we do things in the choir. Explain to them. Sometimes you have to explain to them in the rehearsal. This is what we've been doing, but I have a vision to take us somewhere else. As you stand before them prepared and you teaching them, and they see the confidence in you, they see you standing tall, and this is the way we're going to go. And I'm not deviating. When they see that you're versed and you're dedicated to what you do, they'll change. And then they'll start talking to other people, telling them, you know what, because that's what happened to me. I was trying so hard. And, just when I got to when I'm like, you know what? I don't know if I want to do this. Then the choir members started correcting each other. It's like, no, we got a good directress. She trying to do this. Don't you see what she trying to do? Y'all come here, do right. They all start. So then the ones that were kind of like pushing back had to stop, because then everybody else started looking at you like, why are you doing that? Why don't you just, fall in line and do what's right? So, and then the whole choir is shifted, and everybody started trying to do better. Paula Monroe said, this information is so valuable to Kingdom Building. Thank you, Paula. I'm doing my best to help us build up the kingdom, especially on the music side. Music is very crucial to the betterment of any church service. If the music department is not on point, it just messes up everything. It does. And God created music. So it's necessary. I mean, all of these instruments and things that we have, and the human voice is the best instrument. Oh my God, to get a group of people to sing, whether it's a cappella or with music, to get them to sing strong and with confidence and resonate that sound in the chest voice, and they love to sing and they're happy to be up there singing. That is to me, that's the most beautiful sound, is the human voice. And everybody has one mind, one heart, one vision to sing together and give glory to God and just sing together and bless the hearts of the people. That blesses people regardless. It's just to hear a group of people singing together that love to do whatever they do. And my final thing, I'm trying to keep these to 30 minutes when I have to do it myself. My final thing is you must know your choir. Know them, know their strengths, know their weaknesses, know what they're capable of doing, know what kind of songs are beyond their reach at this moment. But at the same time, always work to push them to get to learn the more difficult songs. Don't just sit back and say everything we do is, two-step repetition, whatever. No, challenge them with a more difficult song. Because if after a while, when they start learning how to sing and they become confident in their singing abilities, and they begin to see the reaction of the people and how things come together, they're going to want to sing something more difficult, just a little bit. And when they did that, I started them, like my choir, I started them with acapella. Okay, because I love acapella. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Well, anyway, I started them with that. Once they got over the fear, because most choirs are used to having they use music as a crutch. I don't have to study the song. Well, all I need to, how many times have we heard that? I don't have to listen to the song. When I hear the music, I know which way to go. That didn't fly with me. When I heard one of my choir members say that was it. No music. We learning everything, every song we sang a cappella. Because one time I was, when I first started teaching them and that happened, they were relying on the music. Well, guess what? We were in church and the electricity went out. So the organ went out. Tunes went everywhere. I was mortified. I'm like, what? So after that, we went a cappella all the way. I didn't care how you kicked the screen. If you couldn't sing this song a cappella, guess what? You're not singing. All right. So, and after a while, they kicked about it. They didn't like it. They kicked, But after a while, we went out one time and they sang a song, a real simple song that I put together. They sang it. And the reaction of the people was just like, whoa. They sang that a cappella. They started on the same note and they ended on the same note because whoever was playing the organ gave us the cue. I told him, play the chord. That's all we need. And then when we got through singing, he played the singer. He was like, oh, wow. They don't, So when the choir saw the reaction and saw how everything that I was doing, how it came to fruition, then after that, it was a piece of cake. They didn't want to sing with music. They only want to sing a cappella. As, hey, we got this, which is fine. You just roll with people. But I'm trying to encourage you, whatever your vision is, whatever you plan to do it, write it down, stick with it. Don't give up. Okay. Don't give up. Keep pushing. Use this time that we have gotten. Cause before the pandemic, we were just running. And, we was on autopilot. We just throwing a song up there. Yeah, okay, whatever. We weren't really focusing, but now we've had this time away. Some of us who are in smaller churches are in our buildings, and those of us that belong to larger churches, of course, is modified. And it depends on what state you're living in. Some states like Texas and South Carolina, North Carolina, they're a little more lax than we are in Illinois. We can only have a 50-person limit in our churches. And then everybody has to be spread it out, right? So it depends on your area. But wherever you are, use this time to get things aligned. Have a change. Okay, that's what leadership is. We're always looking ahead to see what can change. What can we do better? We don't change the principles, but we change the methods in which we do things. Okay, taking in consideration the environment that we in. The church, do we want to stay this way? As long, some people, like in my church, I have a little more autonomy because the pastor happens to be a lover of music. Our first lady is a lover of music. So I have a little more autonomy. I know how far to go, but I have a little more to work with. So it's for me, it's easy. Sometimes we do Caribbean music on Sunday, yay. And then sometimes we do the traditional acapella, and then we do, a little Chicago mass, so we're all over the place. Know your choir, know your department, know what they're capable of doing, and you will find that list. When you start scratching off stuff and not trying to do all of those different things, you'll find that being the leader is not as stressful as it appears to be. It will be a more enjoyable experience. And that's what we want to do. While we are choir directors and directresses and we're in that role that God has ordained us to be in, we want to enjoy ourselves. We want to have a great time. And the people that work with us, we want to train them, help them to learn. So when they step into the role, we want to be like a building block. We want them to be better. And myself, I love directing. I don't know, I'll probably be like Mama Lou and direct till I'm 80 years old. I love it. I love it. I haven't done it in a while, in a public setting in a while, but when that's my element, I just love, conducting and bringing the choir and the musician and everybody together and just see the whole crowd and then turn around and make the audience a choir. I just love that. And hopefully, I'm praying that we get back to that point. And then I have some videos to show you all with me doing all of that kind of stuff. Maybe as people do it. I don't know. But I hope that I said something to help you. I have so many other things that I will be going over with you. This is our last show for November. Yay. Next week is Thanksgiving. I pray everybody has a wonderful holiday, Thanksgiving holiday. Be safe, be careful. Let's adhere to the rules wherever you're living. Make sure you adhere to whatever they're asking you to do. I know it's kind of tight and we all tired. Yes, we're very tired. We've been in this since February and March. But let's do what we can and pray and do what we can to help work this virus so we can get back to our houses of worship in full force and do what we love to do. And that is managing that music department. Thank you all for joining me on tonight. I love all of y'all. Yeah, I love all y'all. Yes, I do. Whether I see you or not. Can't go to heaven unless you love everybody, even your enemies, even those that don't really care for you too much. You still gotta love them. Always pray for everybody so that ticker right there can stay clean and clear so that whatever happens, you have no regrets. Okay? So thank you all. Like and share this video. Let people know. Share it with your friends who are interested in becoming a choir director. I have a whole thick folder of things that I'm going to start reviewing that I talked about 2 years ago. So I got like a whole new crowd. I'm going to start going over those things just to refresh your memory. We have to have that. And then it's good for me to refresh my memory because as I'm talking to you, I'm talking to myself as well. Look, I love each and every one of you. Have a great night. Have a great holiday. Love y'all and peace.